Good morning,นะครับ, everyone. As I told you earlier, we need to have two of the makeup classes.นะครับ. So the first makeup class will be today, this late afternoon.นะครับ. It's from 4 p.m. to 5:50 p.m. So for anyone who would like to join the makeup class on the campus,นะครับ, I'll be in the room 1514.นะครับ. And for the next makeup class,นะครับ, for the next makeup class, I think it should be on the next week,นะครับ, same time,นะครับ, as today's makeup class. That means it should be on next Wednesday,นะครับ, late afternoon as well,นะครับ. I haven't booked the computer lab yet,นะครับ. But anyway, what will be the next makeup class for? The next makeup class,นะครับ, I mean like on the next Wednesday, I just like would like to reserve the time so that if you would like to ask me on Power BI,นะครับ, you can just like ask me on that time,นะครับ. I reserve that time for that purpose, and also we may practice like for some of the exercises on Power BI as well. Also,นะครับ, this week I will assign the extra point assignments,นะครับ, on Power BI to you,นะครับ, apart from the team, the extra point for the team,นะครับ. Last night, some of you asked me that what is the extra point assignment for the team or for the group? Is it the same or different from the presentation on next week,นะครับ? It is different thing,นะครับ. The next week presentation, it will be the live presentation,นะครับ, from you about the Excel,นะครับ, that I assigned you. That is the presentation score,นะครับ, 20%. While the extra point assignment is extra. If you just like would like to get some extra points,นะครับ, you just like do it. But if you think that okay, we don't want, okay, then it's up to you,นะครับ. So for the extra point assignments that I assigned you to do the video clips, that is for Power BI,นะครับ. That's different part from the regular presentation that will be held on the next week,นะครับ. Okay, so and also extra point,นะครับ, assignment that will be the individual extra point,นะครับ, will be assigned to you,นะครับ, from tomorrow onward,นะครับ. So what will it be? I'll give you some like the exercises in Power BI to let you do it, because I would like you to practice,นะครับ, on using Power BI,นะครับ. Okay, so in this one, now let's have a look. Let's have a look for the things that we have to know. Morning, Pat. Pat, you received my reply message already, right? Okay. So I hope that all of you received my message talking about the COVID-19 situation,นะครับ. So for any of you who went to the Bangkok market in that area,นะครับ, please like see the instructions that I sent you,นะครับ, about the protection of the COVID-19. Okay, on the last class,นะครับ, we talk about like many parts more in Power BI,นะครับ, that we have to use and we have to know as well,นะครับ. Okay, just let me check for the information a bit. Right. Okay. On the last class,นะครับ, let's see what we did on our Power BI and what we did,นะครับ. Actually, for the Power BI,นะครับ, when we start using the Power BI from like various source of data, the things that you have to know is that, so I got a question that for the extra point assignment, you submit video link, but you can't submit Power BI file,นะครับ. For the Power BI file, you can submit it to me later on,นะครับ. I'll open the link later on, but I mean like the video link is more important, because I have to share that video link to other teams as well นะครับ because it will be very very useful for all of us นะครับ in the reality when you have to really have to use Power BI นะครับ Okay, now let's see นะครับ on my screen นะครับ on my screen in this one you can see that on the last class when we talk about the Power BI นะครับ the things that we normally have to do นะครับ when we get any Power BI data sorry when we get any data into Power BI is that we always have to clean the data first นะครับ that is really important and the data cleansing นะครับ that we learned before นะครับ was about like trimming the data splitting the data นะครับ by using Power Query Editor นะครับ and also sometimes you may have to change the data type as well. Normally, when you have to change the data type, the way that we have to do is that we have to open up the Power Query Editor นะครับ so as usual when we have to get the data นะครับ once you get the data already นะครับ the data can be viewed in the data view นะครับ in Power BI you can see that when we see like all of the Power BI data that you get into Power BI already sometimes if it's not clean นะครับ for example if you get some worksheets นะครับ from the Excel into Power BI you may find that the column นะครับ the column that you get might not be the column that you want the things that you have to do is that you may have to delete that column out first นะครับ so you can see that in here นะครับ if you would like to delete the column you may delete directly in Power BI desktop screen นะครับ by just going to the data sheet นะครับ click on the data tab and then you go to the worksheet or to the table that you would like to delete that column นะครับ go to that column suppose I say that I don't want the contact title นะครับ and then I just right click delete นะครับ this is one way or I mean like if you use Excel นะครับ to get the data into Power BI it's normally I mean somebody may just like handle the data by using Excel นะครับ before they get into Power BI but if you get the data from other sources for example if you get the data from a website or if you get the data from the databases you can't manipulate the data from those software from those websites that means you get the data into Power BI first and then you just handle the data in Power BI directly นะครับ today we are going to talk about that one นะครับ after that when you would like to clean more นะครับ for example if you would like to split some column นะครับ if you would like to to trim some unnecessary blanks or space นะครับ that we don't want how can we do it in this one we have to go to Power Query Editor นะครับ how do we gonna manage that one นะครับ you can see that in here if you just like if you are in the data view นะครับ you can see that in order to just change the column properties for example if you would like to change the data type นะครับ you may just like choose that column นะครับ and you go to the column tools and then change the format นะครับ or change the format of the data from here นะครับ but I mean like if you would like to do it in the Power Query นะครับ you can also do it as well now let's go to the Power Query the way in order to go to Power Query นะครับ we just go to Home tab and then you can see that in the queries group here it said transform data นะครับ you can use the transform data here นะครับ hang on you can use transform นะครับ data that is here นะครับ this is to open up Power Query Editor so you just click on transform data and choose transform data here okay right so you can see that in here if it shows that okay your data is not updated นะครับ you may have to click on refresh first นะครับ click on refresh first so that you can just like update all of the data that you have. This is the way that we do. After that, if you would like to manage the data in whatever aspect that you would like to have, for example นะครับ if you would like to change the data type นะครับ of any column, you just go to that column first นะครับ for example in this one, if I would like to change the category ID นะครับ in the categories table, I just go to the category ID column here นะครับ and in front of the column name I just click นะครับ and choose the data type that you would like to change to นะครับ and then you just change it. Every time that you change anything นะครับ or do anything in Power Query นะครับ the things that you always have to make sure is that if it asks you that would you like to create a new steps or not, just always choose yes you would like to create a new step นะครับ don't combine the step with the old one. The reason is because later on if you would like to see what you did before นะครับ we normally just have a look on the apply step on the right hand side here, and if นะครับ you just combine the step with the previous step, they link together and you don't know what you did before นะครับ so that's why you always just like add the new step and then it just like show the next step นะครับ in this box, and then you can undo นะครับ each step if you don't want นะครับ or if you say that okay you have a specific step that you don't want it, for example if you say that it's this step that you don't want, you can target to that step นะครับ and then just like click and then delete that step straight away by just choosing นะครับ by choosing the cross symbol in front นะครับ to clear out that step นะครับ it's different from undo นะครับ because normally undo we do the lowest, we undo the lowest step, I mean the most recent step นะครับ or the latest step backwardly, but for the apply step that we have in Power Query, you can go to unwanted step and then choose cross symbol here to delete just only that step นะครับ without just like affecting other steps later นะครับ okay, so apart from that one, what else that we have from cleaning or cleansing the data นะครับ we can just like split column นะครับ that we learned from the last week นะครับ by just like choosing the delimiter นะครับ I would like you to refer to my previous videos talking about how to split the column นะครับ. Just have a look how do we just like notify or how can we notice for the delimiter นะครับ and what symbol that in that piece of data you would like to use it as delimiter to split the column. Apart from that one นะครับ trimming is also important as well, because you can see that sometimes when we have the data นะครับ we found that the data นะครับ sometimes when we split นะครับ when we split the data already, it may have some information that we may not want นะครับ for example นะครับ for example you can see that in here after we split in front of the country name that comes with a space นะครับ that we don't want it, and as I told you earlier that in Power BI it is not Excel, so you cannot double click on the cell and delete unwanted space, and even we can do it, we don't do it one at a time because it wastes a lot of time. So that means if we know that every single cell นะครับ in that column you have an one extra space in front, the things that we may have to do is to trim it นะครับ, so that when we just like do something, for example if we would like to do something like using the visual that is about the country นะครับ it must be the country without a space นะครับ, so that Power BI can visualize the data of that country properly, so you have to trim that one out. If you trim it means that the unwanted space นะครับ or extra space in front นะครับ or anywhere in that cell will be removed. For example, if you have 2 space instead of 1 space นะครับ so for example if you have a name like L and then parcel like this, and here it has like 2 space, by applying trim function นะครับ it just eliminate 1 space out นะครับ because this one นะครับ we have like too many spaces between text, so it just like help to just like remove 1 space out to let you have just 1 space between two words นะครับ for us. All right, okay, so how do we gonna do that นะครับ in this one, okay, suppose I just copy นะครับ I just copy this column นะครับ with the space in front first, so that you can see like how I can do it. This one นะครับ I can duplicate the column นะครับ in this one นะครับ I just right click and choose duplicate column นะครับ you may try as many as you want นะครับ for having like duplicate column first and then just like handle that column นะครับ that you just like copied. In this one you can see that we have like one extra space in front นะครับ we have to trim it. In order to trim, we have to right click นะครับ and after that you choose transform and then trim นะครับ you can see that the leading space will be removed นะครับ in here, and also at the same time you can see that on the steps นะครับ the apply step we have like 1 more steps coming in that is called trim text. If you don't want, for example, if you said, oh, I accidentally do it, I don't want to trim, but actually I want to clean the text, then you have to undo this step by just clicking trim text นะครับ then it comes back with the text with an extra blank in front. But if you say that, okay, you want to clean นะครับ you just right click transform and choose clean. You can see that in here, because there's nothing to clean in here นะครับ for example you have like some junk or for some null values นะครับ that doesn't happen to our data like this, so that's why once you apply clean there's nothing happen นะครับ. Also if you would like to do something else, for example for all the country name you would like to change them to be in capital letters, you can right click and then choose transform and then choose uppercase. This one, all the country name will be changed to be uppercase นะครับ like this. This is the way that we may do in order to help cleaning the data. Okay. After we just like know how to clean the data already นะครับ the next thing that you really have to do is that when you need to have an extra column นะครับ, the things that you have to do is that we normally do it in our the Power BI screen directly นะครับ so make sure that if you just like do anything or handle the data นะครับ in Power Query Editor already, after all the things have been done นะครับ you have to click close and apply so that Power BI will memorize นะครับ what you did, and then it will just like go back to the main screen นะครับ of Power BI. Otherwise if you don't apply นะครับ and you close this Power Query Editor screen, when you go back to Power BI นะครับ nothing will happen นะครับ from what you did in the Power Query Editor. So in this one I'll choose close and apply นะครับ we go back to Power BI screen นะครับ okay, right. Okay, then right now we come back to Power BI screen already นะครับ and if you have a look in the data sheet view นะครับ we go to orders table, you can see that I created a column called ship country copy in here นะครับ, that I just like make all of them to be in uppercase. Now let's come back to what I talked before. The next thing is that if you would like to have an extra column in Power BI นะครับ what is it? The extra column in Power BI normally it is like a constant or it is a calculation นะครับ from the existing columns that we have in Power BI. For example, you can see that when we talk about the orders detail that we did before, okay, in here, you can see that for the original table for orders detail, we didn't have the gross sales. We had just unit price, quantity, discount. The last column was here. If you remember. We say that we want to know gross sales because if we have just unit price and quantity, we couldn't calculate anything much. I mean, like the visual that you try to create might not be useful for us much. The reason is because we don't know about the revenue that we receive from the sales. So we say that, okay, for the gross sales that we have, we have to know first what do we want. In this case, if we say that we want to know gross sales, that is the calculation from unit price and quantity. The next problem that you have to answer is that for the gross sales, will it happen or will it occur in every single records of data or not? For example, if we have order ID 10508, will it have its own gross sales? In the sales order 10521, will it have its own gross sales or not? If you say that every single record must have the gross sales, that means you need a new column to hold these values. So in order to have the column, we know already that we want new column. We know the formula to calculate that column already. Next, we just have to create that column. So when we create a column, you can see that we can go to table tools and then choose new column. That is here. New column that is here. Once you click on new column, Power BI will create a blank column for you with the formula bar. You can see that here the new column is created. It shows column equals to and then cursor is blinking. Then you can rename the column to be any name that you want. The name that you rename will appear like the name in the column like this. After that, after equal sign, you just type the formula. The formula normally, for example, if it is the variable name, it's the column name multiplied by some values. Okay, how do we gonna have the column for multiplying with the values? You can see that for multiplying with values, you type manually. For example, if you would like to have the text, it might be like times 0.07, something like that, in the back. But in front, if you would like to have the column, the way in order to have the column is that you have to know first what column that you would like to have. For example, in here, you would like to multiply quantity by unit price. Quantity by unit price. So in this one, the formula will be like this, will be a column multiplied by another column. So you just type a part of the column name. And then Power BI will show you for the column name. For example, if you type unit price, for example, in here, you type unit price. So when you start typing, unit price in here, you can see that Power BI will list the fields, or the column that is similar to the name that you type in. Then you just double click, and then you just apply the formula into this calculation. So in this one, if you would like to multiply by quantity, you just type quant. So it lists the field or the column that start with quant as well in this in this table for you, and then you just double click นะครับ so this one will be the formula นะครับ of the new column that will apply to every single record. So that means it will bring unit price of each record multiplied by the quantity of each record for you นะครับ and then just calculate in this new column นะครับ so this is the column that we created. So you may rename the column later on by just like clicking on that column. When the formula bar is showing, you just rename the word column to be some other names. Or you go to that column, right click, and then you just choose rename. Then you just type the new name in here, press enter. You can see that the name of the column will be changed, and also in the formula bar, the name of the column is updated as well. This is the way in order to rename the column that you created. After we use นะครับ or after we create the new column already, what else that we have to know นะครับ sometimes we have some values นะครับ sometimes we have some values that we need to calculate นะครับ but it cannot be calculated as the column นะครับ for what reasons why it's different. You can see that for the whole table นะครับ for the whole table, if you have one value นะครับ that you want to have, it might be just like the calculation of like some values in this table together. For example, if you say that you want to have the total gross sales, you can see that total gross sale for the whole table, you have just one total gross sales only. It is not total gross sale for every single record because you have to sum the gross sales of each record together to get the total gross sales. In that one, make sure นะครับ you have to remember that if you would like to have the total gross sales, that is the summation of like the whole column gross sale in this case. We never create a new column called total gross sales นะครับ this is wrong. The reason is because we have just one value only by summing up the gross sales together. If you have total gross sale as a new column and every cell has the same value, it's strange. We don't do that. So if you would like to have some total value here นะครับ normally we need to have the tools that we call it as the measure นะครับ measure is a calculation นะครับ for a value that we want. It will not be display the output in the table directly, but you can see the value นะครับ of the measure by using the visual นะครับ normally we use card นะครับ card visual to display that measure value นะครับ so for example in this one, if you would like to find total gross sales, the things that we do is that we go to column tools นะครับ and then we just click hang on, not column tools, we go to home นะครับ and then we choose new measure นะครับ before we choose new measure, think first, where would you put that measure on? For example, because I know that I would like to find the total gross sales. Total gross sales are the calculation นะครับ in orders detail table. Then I would like to put my total gross sales measure in the orders detail table. Then I just click on orders detail table first, so that when I create a new measure, it will be recorded together with this table นะครับ then you can go to home and then choose new measure. It looks similar to the column, but it's not, because it comes up with the formula bar as well. This is for calculation นะครับ then you just like put something like, for example นะครับ I just name this measure as total gross sales measure นะครับ equals to, then I just use the formula นะครับ like the function like sum I just put sum, and then I have to know what do I want to sum. I just type the column name that I would like to sum. In this one, it doesn't matter whether it's the column that was in the um, table before or it's a column that you just created. Suppose I say that I want to sum the column test, let's say. You can see that when I start typing the word test, Power BI just lists out the name of the column that looks similar to what I type in. Then I choose this one. After that, I close the parenthesis. You can see that this one is what we call total gross sales measure. The formula is to sum the test table or test column in the order detail table. When I press enter, it starts calculating for me. So you can see that in here, if you have a look on the column all the columns in orders detail table, you don't see a column called total gross sale measure because as I told you earlier, total gross sale measure is a measure, it's not a column. So that's why it will not be displayed in the column like this. But if you scroll in the list of the field of orders detail table, you will see this one total gross sales ... If you just drag the mouse to expand the size, you can see that in here it said total gross sales measure, and the symbol to symbolize the measure looks like a calculator looks like a calculator, while the column the symbol for the column that you created is like a table and then you have like the new column like this. This is a symbol for the column. Okay, and after that, at most, when you go to click on that measure, you will see the formula, but you don't see the output. In order to see the output, we have to go to the report view and after that, you have to use the visual that can display the measure. For example, if I use a measure that is a visual that is a card, then I can display the total gross sales amount. This one. Okay, all right. So this one is the way that we use measure to calculate something on our file our Power BI file Okay, right. So this is what we learned from like previous classes on Power BI, and they will be like very useful for us So before I move on to the next example, up to this point, do you have any questions? Right. Okay. If you don't have any questions, we are going to try on the next way to get the data from different sources, apart from just an Excel file. So today I'll just show you two different forms of the data that we may have to get the data into your Power BI. Right. So everyone you just save your Power BI file and then just click File and then New we have to new a Power BI file for us. The next example that I would like to show you on the Power BI data getting is to get the data from different files from different files and this file, okay, let me just check first for the file that I prepared for you. Just won't be long. Okay, so let me just explain to you So everyone, please log in into your e-learning. I'll show you these kind of files that we have. Let me just show you for the file that I upload for you. Okay, when you scroll down to Power BI group, you can see that we use sales order Excel file already นะครับ and then we name it as ABC นะครับ file in Power BI. Now you can see that we have like seven more files นะครับ that are employees, suppliers, and so on. I want you to download these files นะครับ into your computer, and then we see together what is this file about นะครับ After you download the file นะครับ I just want you to see นะครับ the information here นะครับ You can see that the file that you download is not Excel file. It's not Excel workbook. Okay. Even though it is shown as X, that is Excel. But this file นะครับ these files are special. In the future, I'm sure that you see this kind of file more and more นะครับ This file นะครับ we call it as CSV file. .csv นะครับ .csv stand for comma separated value file นะครับ or .csv file comma separated value file. What is the special things for this kind of file? Normally, if you have a database or if you have a file from the internet, sometimes instead of giving you as an Excel file, they export their files to become a CSV file. Power BI has a capability to handle this kind of CSV file นะครับ because when CSV file is getting into Power BI already, Power BI will try to make this one นะครับ this kind of file to look similar to Excel file นะครับ okay. So everyone, if you download this file already, I just want you to try to see the real นะครับ way that CSV file keeps the data นะครับ how CSV file keeps the data. Firstly, you just go to your folder that you save that downloaded files. Normally, it should be in your download folder. Chita ครับ show what ครับ I haven't done anything yet. I just download the files in Power BI. You just download it from Excel. Yes.
Okay, just.
Okay. You download from employees to orders นะครับ After that, you go to your download folder. And I want you to have a look นะครับ Starting from orders นะครับ Don't double click นะครับ This one you do it slowly. Have a look on what I have done so far slowly ครับ In this one, let's go to order file that we download นะครับ We right click นะครับ We right click and then choose open with Notepad นะครับ Go to that file, right click, choose open with Notepad. This is the originality of that file. You can see that it is the text followed by comma, 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 comma นะครับ Most of the characters that you see are commas. That's why we call it as comma separated value or CSV file นะครับ So you can see that if you have to edit anything in this file, it is difficult นะครับ In the current version of Excel, it has a capability to open this file to make this file looks like an Excel file as well. So in the same way, if I double click the file or I right click and then choose open with Excel, you can see that Excel will convert it immediately นะครับ to be the Excel like data นะครับโอเค